Okay, it actually worked here. So we are actually live on this Money in the Bank recap. I do have Devin Diamond, and
Hello.
in case you guys couldn't hear that, he said hello. I also have Dan here as well.
Hello.
So he also said hello. So hopefully you guys could hear that. I'm going to just kind of go over the rundown of the card on what we had and the results, and then we'll go through and then we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. If you guys have questions, comments, put it on the chat. If they're for me, I'll answer them. If they're for Ryan or Dan, feel free to ask them about anything. If it's not appropriate, I will just change the question. I've been known to do that. So, with that being said, please let me know what you guys thought of the pay-per-view Money in the Bank today as well. So we'll see how that kind of meshes up to how we thought it did. So first up, we did have a pre-show match with Jeff Hardy and Cesaro, with Jeff Hardy getting that victory. We opened up Money in the Bank with the New Day versus the Forgotten Sons versus the Lucha House Party versus Miz and Morrison, with the New Day taking that. We did the second match of the night was R-Truth versus MVP. Got switched out for R-Truth versus Bobby Lashley, with Lashley going over. The third match of the night was Bayley versus Tamina, with Bayley retaining her title. The fourth match of the evening was Braun Strowman over Bray Wyatt, followed by Drew McIntyre over Seth Rollins. And then the main event was the two Money in the Bank ladder matches, with Asuka winning for the women and Otis surprisingly winning for the men. So, with that being said, now you guys got the quick, that's the results there for you. But if you guys want to actually, know our thoughts and stuff, that's what we're going to cover now. So, I'm not going to cover the pre-show Jeff Hardy Cesaro match, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch it. So that's that. I saved you guys 5 minutes, everybody. So you guys can thank me later. So the first match was the New Day, the Miz and Morrison, Lucha House Party, and the Forgotten Sons. I'm going to be honest, there was nothing that I thought that was too special. I do think since the Usos are out on injury, that match would have been a lot better with the Usos in there. But the New Day did pick up the victory on that one. I really don't got any thoughts about that one. Do you guys have anything you want to add for that?
This was Devin. It pretty much seems like it was kind of just really the expected outcome. There wasn't really any reason to move the belts. I mean, New Day always reliable to get good crowd reactions. Not like that's important right now, but I mean, it's just kind of pretty much what I expected would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just say real quick, I know that those who watch on video right now may not know that we're just calling into the show today because we couldn't do it on video, but we're a little quiet on what they can hear on there, so I don't know if you can turn your volume up a little bit or bring it a little closer to your microphone so they can hear us better.
Let's see. I can kind of hold it like this.
Okay.
So that
sounds better, but I just want to make sure we got a good stream for the viewers. But yeah, when it comes to that match, it's completely unsurprising the way it went. I mean, that's pretty much as expected with them winning. So, I mean, retaining the titles and not much to say.
Yeah, and we all three of us called that. There was no surprise there. Even my son called it, and everybody in the house called it. New Day's going to retain. I did see someone yesterday. They did think Miz and Morrison might take it. So to that viewer from yesterday, which I believe it was my brother, so I can say, haha, you were wrong. So.
Well, I think also that I had said that it would be kind of cool if they were to have won, because that was probably they had the champions like a decade ago, but like you kind of said, they already did that. So
Yeah, and I did say if anybody was going to get it, it would be Miz and Morrison if it wasn't the New Day. But I think we were all in agreement the New Day had that. So no surprise. Not really. It was just kind of a good match. Nothing really too crazy. So the next one, we'll just get into that right away. MVP. The MVP R-Truth interaction was a little entertaining. R-Truth is just hilarious with this semi-crazy, semi-stupidity gimmick that he has going on. Always good for a few laughs. But then they had Bobby Lashley come out, and there was still some, goofiness from R-Truth, which made it at least watchable. But, it was pretty much a one-sided squash match with Bobby Lashley winning. So,
yeah, that's not surprising. All he wants is his 24/7 title back, right?
yeah, he did do an interview later on where that was pretty much what it was about. It was a picture with him and his belt. So that brought a little comedy later in the show.
I'm gonna go on record and say that Bobby Lashley really feels like a relic from a lost era. Like I don't know what it is. He just doesn't fit the way things are now. Just in my opinion, like a decade ago, where the big muscular guy was really the selling point for Vince and WWE. Where now it's more of the guys like Daniel Bryan, and Seth Rollins, the smaller guys that can really wrestle real well. I don't know. He doesn't have much of a personality either. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that, but I'm not really that into him as that,
Yeah. I don't know. Well, he had his peak at the WrestleMania thing with Trump and McMahon, and that was about it.
Yeah. That was really kind of his big thing with, Umaga and, Donald Trump and man. It's just, I don't know. There's nothing to him. It's just, I don't know. He's generic. He's like if you hit a creator wrestler, he's random. He doesn't have the great look, or Skyrim, you get the randomized character and that's what you get. It's just, he's big, he's jacked, he's crazy, crazy huge, but other than that's kind of his gimmick, and that's kind of Lesnar's gimmick and Strowman's gimmick. They're kind of a little full on that department. So that's my opinion. So
Yeah. I think the work he was doing in TNA before he came back to WWE was actually pretty good. They were utilizing him correctly. He was the top guy there.
Yeah.
But going back to the machine, you got to be bringing something a little bit different than everybody else. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go on to the third match here, Bayley versus Tamina. For that match, I thought it started out pretty decent. And then after about 10 minutes.
I think your phone's too far away from you.
It shouldn't be.
You can barely hear it.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Keep the phone by you until we're talking.
Got it. Keep the phone by me so you guys can hear me. Good. Gives my arm a little break here. So if you guys are just tuning in, I do have Devin Diamond and Devin Diamond and Dan on the phone right here. So they will be talking, and we're trying to make this work where we can, be streaming live to you guys. So if you have any questions or comments or thoughts on the pay-per-view itself, put them off to the side. If you have a question for myself, Devin Diamond, Dan, just let us know. All right. So the next match was, like I said, Bayley and Tamina. I thought the first couple minutes were pretty good, but after about 6 minutes, 7 minutes, I'm like, it's starting to lose me. Might even have dozed off at the end of that match a little bit. Did see, with the help of Sasha Banks, Bayley retained. I think we all called that whole thing. So we do have a question. We do have a question here from Mr. Feet. So I like the name. What got you to like wrestling? So I guess that one's to me, but I'll maybe have you guys answer that. We'll make it quick. For me, I've liked wrestling ever since I was a young kid. I like going to the live shows. I remember taking the city bus on down there with my brother, and we'd get there beforehand. We would stay afterwards. We'd meet. So it's to all of us. So, yeah, we'd go down there and, meet the wrestlers. And I don't know, you're a little kid, and these guys are bigger than, they're just monstrous. When I was growing up, you have people like Andre the Giant. I mean, and Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. I mean, I think it was the best era for wrestling is the late 80s, early 90s, which is so that's why I kind of liked it and haven't really fallen out of it. And that's why I do it. And, so that's my story. Devin Diamond, what's your story? Why did you start to like wrestling, or when and why?
Well, I just like seeing big hairy men get oiled up and rolling around together. Don't tell my wife that though. But no, it's like I said, I was a big fan of the '80s, the late '80s, early '90s, the Hogan, Macho Man era, and kind of fell out of interest. Kind of about '93 or so, I kind of lost interest, and then kind of got back into it when I was in high school. About '99 or so, and then pretty much hooked ever since. I mean, it's soap operas for guys. There's great stories and stuff. Sometimes there were, but it's I don't know, just those moments when you feel the part of the crowd. Like when somebody would finally win the belt for the first time. It's just that you feel like you kind of accomplished something too. It's like, I don't know, it's interesting, just kind of, it's like they used to watch, thousands of years ago, the gladiator games, or they sit there and don't get their heads cut off though during this, so.
Okay.
Everyone likes a good pretend fight. So.
Yeah. All right, and Dan, what about you?
Well, I would definitely say that it's due to my grandfather. I do remember being, if I had to guess, 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that, and he was watching it on, like a Superstar Saturday morning or something like that. It's probably, I don't remember exactly what the first thing was, but I remember he brought home the tape from WrestleMania 3, like when it was on closed circuit television. He borrowed it from somebody at work that like copied it for like all the friends at work or whatever. I remember watching that, but for some reason, I think I remember the first thing that I ever saw of wrestling that stuck out in my mind was when Macho Man was taking on Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental title, and I don't, was it Heart Foundation that came out and were like holding Macho Man, and then Hulk Hogan came out and made the statement. It was the first time that Macho Man and Hulk Hogan started their thing. I'm pretty sure that it's not the first thing I ever saw. It's really the first thing that ever stuck out that I can think of, but it was definitely one of those two things. But it was definitely my grandfather, and that's probably for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, speaking of,
I remember. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Sean Faye. But I was just gonna say, I remember one time too, like it was like the Saturday morning show, and I was so pumped because it was gonna be Hulk Hogan versus Boris Zukov on the show. I was like, oh, it's gonna be amazing. It was just like. That's the one thing that kind of sucks too, is like being, more jaded and having insider knowledge. It just doesn't feel the way it used to. Like back in the 80s, it just felt so much more epic and more important. Especially like the pay-per-views and stuff, where it's just like, it just doesn't feel anymore.
It's kind of like enjoying hot dogs as a kid until you find out how they're made.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I know, so people that if you're just tuning in, Mr. Feet wanted to know what got us into wrestling. It was a question to all three of us. I have Dan on the phone. I have Devin Diamond on the phone. So that's what that was about. Speaking of WrestleMania 3, this Tuesday on the FSN 1 network, they're going to be replaying the whole WrestleMania 3. So you get some really good matches. Hogan versus Andre going to be on Tuesday. You get to see the Macho Man, oh my God, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which he told my son that was actually his favorite match that he's ever done was WrestleMania 3 with Macho Man. So tune in. Yeah. Yeah, it got us an extra autograph just because he had a Macho Man shirt on, and he wanted to sign my son's Macho Man shirt. And I was like, he looks at me, he's like, Kenny? I go, dude, sure can. It's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I'll buy you another Macho Man shirt. We're good. So, yeah. So that we just finished up before that question. We just finished up talking about the decent between Bailey and Tamina. So we're going to move on to Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. Man, every time Bray Wyatt gets in the ring, especially with this gimmick and how he's mixing in the humor and this and that and just his ring psychology and stuff, not the best technical wrestler that is out there, but he makes up for it with just, his mic skills and his personality and stuff like that. Made the match definitely enjoyable. I do like the end where Strowman got knocked down off the apron, and then he gets back up about 30 seconds to a minute. He got up slowly, but when he got up from the apron or up, when he got up to get back into the ring, he was wearing the black sheep mask. So then he comes in and he's acting like he's part of the Wyatt family again, and all the puppets are around the ringside. And Bray Wyatt said, I told him I can get you back. I'm assuming he's talking about the Fiend. So there was a real cool interaction there before we all know what's going to happen next. Braun Strowman took off the mask, stomped on it, and then hits him with the power slam to get the victory, which is, again, like we predicted yesterday, just furthering that storyline with Braun Strowman. And instead of Bray Wyatt, it's going to be the Fiend. Now that, Bray Wyatt was wrong, the Fiend's going to have to come and show him how it's done, I'm assuming. So, Dan, Devin, what do you guys think?
Well, I think that pretty much went the way that when we were talking about yesterday. Pretty much this was just the first step in the feud. This was just point A, point to each point B, C, D, and E. It was just the first stop on the ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Devin,
I think that this is the perfect way to. This is a perfect feud right now because of the fact that there's no crowds, so they can do a lot of the video stuff, and it won't take away from the live shows. Like in the Firefly Funhouse and stuff. This really is a great opportunity to do that. So much more,
Yeah.
As a prominent role. It's a perfect gimmick to do at this point in time with that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think.
Back to what I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say back to what you're saying about with Bray Wyatt kind of, not being the most, glamorous or greatest wrestler. I kind of look at him as kind of like this generation's Mick Foley, where he's not the most crisp or the most stylish, but he definitely gets it done. There's a little bit of a ruggedness to it. It's believable when he does the stuff too. I guess where it's more rough around the edges. It doesn't look as like, oh, I've done this spot 800 times.
Right.
He practiced it, 6 times before the match.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So,
We definitely look like we're helping Fate with Arm Day.
what? Oh yeah, holding the thing up. Yeah, this is my my rest day, the one I get out of the week, and here I am holding the phone up. That it's only after holding it up there for a couple minutes, it sure does start to wear on you a little bit. So, yeah, if you're tuning in, definitely put some comments in. Tell us what you thought of Money in the Bank. We're kind of just going over it match by match, and we're already up to Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. Oh, man. This was, for me, it was, you got two really good wrestlers. They've been hyping it up every week. I have not been buying into it. I have not been feeling it. And they had an okay match, but nothing that was too like, wow, that's great. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore kick at the end to pin him. They have a little interaction afterwards where he's trying to get Seth Rollins to shake his hand, if he's the true leader of the locker room, but he doesn't. Yeah, there was just, I wanted to fall asleep on this match, actually. I was like, can we get this over with? Those first couple matches of Money in the Bank tonight were just kind of rough to really get through. They had some spots. So out of those first couple matches, that Bray Wyatt and Strowman match was probably the one, at least they had some comedy in there and, to keep me going. So I did have Ian S on here. Ian S, we will comment on yours, but we don't want to spoil it. Even though we did spoil it at the first 5 minutes, we kind of let everybody know who wins. But Ian S, we will get back to your comment here. We did not forget about you. So that just means we're going to say your name that much more here live on YouTube. But before we get to your comment, Ian S, thanks for tuning in, by the way. Should I say Ian S one more time? Okay. So what do you guys think of that Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins? Does it continue on from here, or does he go on to the next opponent? I did hear rumblings that they're looking at, I know, Dan, you're looking forward to this one, a Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre match. So that he could potentially be the next opponent.
I don't think there's a way that they don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that, absolutely. Especially with Jinder Mahal just recently kind of returning to Raw, it's like, okay, good timing,
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of him during that first run, but now that he's back, I'm actually excited to see Jinder Mahal back. Nice guy, actually, by the way, when you meet him in person. Actually, a really nice guy. So Ian S is back, and he says, I think Drew should join the Monday Night Messiah. Okay, well, that would be interesting. I don't know how you get from where you're at now to there, but that's interesting thought, ENS.
Yeah.
So does he continue on with Seth, or does he go on to his next feud?
I think that McIntyre is going to have the type of title reign where he's going to not really have long feuds, but more so just title defenses.
Okay.
And I do think that this is a prime example of, I think this title reign is going to suffer from a lack of crowd involvement. And actually the whole pay-per-view, too, that's the thing, too. It kind of feels like this is, other than the Money in the Bank matches, did any of this really need to happen?
No, I don't think so.
Having no crowd is really killing the product, in my opinion. I mean, imagine if you went to a concert and there was nobody there. The music's good, but still, you get that electricity of the audience. Being a part of the show, or it's kind of like that.
With that being said, since they started this, they have changed a few things to make it a little bit more watchable. But every week, people comment AEW is better because they have wrestlers out there. They're still maintaining social distancing. They got production staff out there. They actually have people in the crowd that's actually interacting with the wrestlers. That it does. There's some interaction there. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't taken that cue from AEW, because AEW is getting raved on, for doing it, and WWE is getting knocked for not.
I don't think WWE has a choice. The problem is these are rules coming down from the government, things like that. And I think the only way Vince could get around this right now would be that he would have to hire like 100 people to literally be like the crowd, because then they would be like employees of the company, and hence since WWE can actually do what they're doing with their employees, they can't open to the public. But if they hired the crowd, then they could have them in there. So that's probably the only thing that they can do.
They're running mostly in Florida, and AEW this past Wednesday, they were at the Jacksonville stadium. You could see that with the main event, where they actually almost fought onto the football field itself. So, I mean, they're in the same state. So what's good for them should be good for WWE. So,
I
and I think that says a lot about AEW too. Is that they're still really getting their footing and stuff, and they, with all this going on, their numbers have improved, whereas WWE's have really dwindled in terms of people watching and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's pretty commendable that AEW has been able to maintain interest, if not have it grow with everything going on.
Yeah.
Well, I think that could be an indicator though that AEW has like the hardcore wrestling fans, and WWE is more of a wide audience product, and when the wide audience tunes in, and they don't like it, whereas the hardcore wrestling fans stick around.
Yeah, the hardcore wrestling fans are sitting there watching the product intensely with AEW, whereas people are probably on their smartphones with Raw in the background.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cool. And I go back to my text. It's like, seriously. I mean, that's my opinion, but I'm guilty of that. So.
I'm going to be honest. During that Drew McIntyre match, I wanted to do the same thing. I actually went on YouTube and started watching someone's podcast that they were doing on YouTube of reactions, just because at least it was a little bit more entertaining than the match I was currently watching, so I could kind of do both. So, AEW, I feel like I got to actually pay attention to. You never know what's going to happen. And at WWE, it's like, look, me, you, and Dan predicted all of these matches exactly the way they were, the outcomes, up until the Money in the Bank, where we started to not really know which way they were going to go. So,
yeah, those were definitely curveballs. It was, at least the women's money thing. So.
Yeah. So with that being said, that actually brings us to the Money in the Bank match, the men's and women's match. A lot of interesting things here. Overall, I thought it was pretty decent until they got to the roof. And then once they got to the roof, I was like, it just didn't work for me. Not because they were on the roof. It's just because you were doing all these different interesting things, going through the building and stuff like that. And the AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Vince McMahon's office was pretty cool.
With the giant Tyrannosaurus skull, right?
Yeah, which you actually see that before with the Edge and Christian show that's on there. So you got to see his office before. But yeah, that's just interesting to see that. I actually thought Dana Brooke climbing on top of the table to get the Money in the Bank. I'm like, dude, I would have walked out. That looked like real money in there. I would have walked out. We're good. I won.
And then the horribly after edited Stephanie McMahon, and they're like making fun of her when you could tell she wasn't even. It like made it look like she was in the hallway, but it was just like after the fact that they had this in where she's like, "What are you doing? This is the conference room for the Money in the Bank."
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little rough. I was actually shocked to see Brother Love. Actually, I was like, they got Brother Love. Okay, awesome. So,
what do you think of the metaphor for Baron Corbin breaking the mirror? Like he was like, "Oh God, 7 more years of bad luck."
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. We were watching that. We actually, I was watching wrestling all by myself until the Money in the Bank came on, and then everybody wanted to come and watch it. But we were all kind of like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, yeah, that mirror probably had a crack in it or something already. They're like, yeah, throw it through that one right there. Yeah, we got to replace it. Anyways.
Until the 45-pound weight went through the drywall behind it.
Yeah, exactly. I did think that too. Like, yeah, they weren't expecting to fix that one. And hey, the cleaning crew that's going to have to pick up that food fight. Oh, yeah. I'd be so ticked off, man. Like, I got to clean up this whole mess.
What do you think of the Ray sandwich?
Oh, the Ray sandwich? Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. I thought that was great.
Otis and Nia Jax, both they put Ray sandwich. They both ran at him.
It looked like Shayna Baszler had that choke in pretty dang good because Ray started to turn red. So,
I know how that goes when you're kind of pretending to put someone in a headlock and only give them 25%, so it takes about 4 times longer to pass out.
Yeah.
Right?
So for those that are watching and they don't know what he's talking about, if you get in the ring with me, I'm gonna hurt you. So even if it's only at 25%. So
Well, like I said, anything at 25% takes 4 times as long to get to the point where you can't take it.
yeah. You only got a choke. Devin's wrestled me a couple times, so
Yeah, I have.
you know the chops in the corner. I think that he'd probably prefer the choke out versus the hand of fate in the corner. So
Yeah, the chops are no fun.
Well, before we get too far off of this match, I was going to ask, what do you think there? Do you think that they were doing a lot of setup for AJ Ray feud? Because that's sure what it looked like to me.
I don't know. I didn't really necessarily see that per se. I think I would have wanted to see a little bit more interaction with them, and then I might have thought that, but
Okay, well, I just thought AJ should run up the building yelling, Ray, I'm going to get you. I'm going to find you. Kind of well enough.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. That it kind of seemed a little like The Shining to me. Okay, so Ian S here says off topic, but I think the hacker from SmackDown is CM Punk or AJ Lee. Okay.
Blocking the camera with the phone.
Do you? Oh yeah. Do you think it really is CM Punk or AJ Lee, or Ian S? Are you just hoping it's CM Punk or AJ Lee? I think if they wanted ratings, it would be CM Punk or AJ Lee. That would definitely boost the ratings, but Vince McMahon is stubborn.
Alberto Del Rio.
Really?
No, I really don't.
Really? No, I'm saying really because I know you. You saw the message pop up on your phone earlier today that he's in some trouble. So Ian S said both of them, that he hopes it is and he thinks it is. So, all right.
I think CM Punk would be cool. I don't think AJ Lee is ever coming back to WWE, especially when they already have AJ Styles now. So I don't know. Listen here. I was the one who thought back in the day that they were not going to bring AJ Styles in as AJ Styles because of AJ Lee. And I was like, okay, what would they do? Maybe they'll call him like Andrew Styles because when the crowd's chanting AJ, you hear Andrew, AJ Styles, AJ Styles. You know what I mean? They could have sold it as something else. But I was like, no, not because of AJ Lee. So I think they don't like having people with the same names.
Yeah.
You know what? If they were smart, they would get him in somewhere, even if she doesn't wrestle anymore. She was a very entertaining character. And I know she's big on mental health and stuff like that. And if you haven't had a chance to read her book, Crazy is My Superpower by AJ Lee. You see, I have it on the screen right there. Read the book. It's great. It makes you laugh. It has all in 1 or 2 pages. I mean, she's an extremely great writer, actually. I was sometimes get lost on reading a book. What's that?
Sounds like something might go good in that upcoming Fate Crate giveaway that you haven't plugged yet.
I haven't plugged the Fate Crate yet in this video, but like, subscribe, and share. At the end of the month, I will be picking someone that's going to get their very own Fate Crate. Open it up on camera if you want, and send the video back. I'll play it on here so you guys can see what you're going to get. There's going to be several items in there, not just 1 or 2 items. There'll be several items in there. Most likely a Fate Club item, most likely a WWE Funko Pop, probably some maybe a micro brawler and some other little things. So we'll kind of see. So, and anybody is able to get that. So like the video. The more videos you like, the more videos you comment on, the better your chances. So even my mom can win. So Mom, if you're watching, keep watching. So we'll do it at random on camera, but we'll get back to the match here.
Well, I was going to ask one other thing about this match here, though. Did you notice, like, one big hot topic on the internet right now is that, Roman Reigns has been, being banned from WWE, but I noticed a whole lot of Roman Reigns in the background at the corporate place, like Paul Heyman sitting in front of the big banner and AJ walking past the big Roman Reigns sign. I'm like, I lot of Roman Reigns in the background for supposedly Vince wanting to take all mentions of Roman Reigns out of this, but nobody noticed that when they were doing it. I think that was them saying, "Hey, internet, you're wrong."
Well, one, I hear Roman Reigns have just went on the record to say it's not due to his battle with leukemia that he's had. It's actually because he just had twin boys, and he doesn't want to get his children sick by potentially exposing himself and then exposing his family, which I can agree with 100%. So I can commend him for that one, to stand in his grounds, even though he was projected to win the WrestleMania. He's like, no, this is not worth it to me. So that's awesome. But at the same time, if I was Vince, I would go, you know what? Maybe I can really get Roman Reigns over here. And let's just put on let's just tell everybody, I'm going to act like I'm super mad. It's only between him and Reigns. They know the truth. And really just kind of bury him so that when he comes back, the fans are like, you know how us, we get suckered into that stuff where, oh, Vince is not going to ever push Roman Reigns. Oh, we're just going to cheer him more until he does what we want. But the whole time, it's just a work. So.
Yeah, it feels like something they put out there to get, like a planted rumor, and I don't buy it. I mean, I don't see what that's. If anything, I did want to keep down references to him so when he returns, they'll get more of a surprise. Because out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything malicious if there's anything to it. So.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
So we have SSW Pro Wrestling Entertainment. Good show so far, champ. So for those that don't know, that's who I work for, SSW Pro Wrestling Entertainment. So that's who Devin worked for. He sometimes comes back and do commentary. So if he ever comes out of retirement, I got first dibs.
So you put that belt on the line and we'll talk.
Anytime, anywhere. So
let's get to the winners.
Yeah. So now, so we'll get back to the thing. We'll cut to. I think we covered everything that was inside the very entertaining stuff. But where the match lost it for me was once it got to the roof. I think I didn't make an official declare of who I thought was going to win for the women. But I was watching with my son, and before it started, he goes, "Who's going to win?" I go, "I think Asuka's going to win." So I got that one right. It was lackluster once it got to the roof. They only fought in that little area. The whole interaction at the end where she knocks down Baron Corbin and gets the briefcase. I'm just like, really? That's how you're going to end it? And if you're going to end it like that, you have two powerhouses in Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Why wouldn't they continue to fight and go, you know what? Fine. I'm not the women's Money in the Bank champion. I'm going to beat up the men and try to get the belt. I'm going to try to get the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. And I'm going to try to win that. I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do that. I know we heard rumors that they were going to throw someone off the roof, but they didn't really throw him off the roof. It was like they did several times. They showed a pan of the whole roof. So the part that he got thrown over, which looked convincing the way they did it, but the previous shots that you saw, it's just like another part of the roof over there. It's just a little barricade that they had, and they weren't actually really getting, tossed over the side of the building. So that was
nothing off of a porch.
Right, exactly. And if you look, there was a black mat over there. So they landed on the black mat. You could clearly see that there was a black mat over there. I was like, really? They had that where they came out the doorway. There was that whole platform up there. I'm like, they didn't use that. They didn't have anybody, maybe climb up instead of trying to climb up the ladder, maybe trying to climb up the tower itself. And, there were so many different things they could have did on the roof, and they just did nothing.
Vince would have let that fly and be like, no, that's what they do in Ultimate X. We're not them.
Yeah. Fortnite Plays says, worst pay-per-view ever. I was super excited. The only match I cared to see was the Money in the Bank, just because of how creative it was. And then Fortnite Plays also says it was a stuntman match. Yeah, it did look like a stuntman map right there on the other side. So for me, it was good all the way up until the roof, and then having that, finish there with here's where I can bring back Ian S's comment, where Otis actually wins after Elias screws over Corbin, and then AJ Styles didn't have full control of it. I'm like, what is this, football? I mean, and then he drops it, and then Otis is there to catch it. Yeah. So before I get your guys' thought on that, where I probably would go with this Otis thing is because they never said which championship they can go for. I would actually have Otis cash it in on Adam Cole and take the NXT championship. I mean, otherwise, I don't believe that when he cashes it in on the SmackDown or Raw champion, he's not going to win. So at least with Adam Cole, he might win because he outweighs him and everything. So,
you never know. He might win.
I honestly, I think they did not know what to do. I do have to take exception with worst pay-per-view ever, though, because I'm pretty sure nothing can be worse than December to Dismember from 2006 or whatever it was.
PTSD from that.
Yeah, can't be that bad. But on the other side of it, like, definitely, to me, two surprising wins because I don't see really, like, Otis is fun, and Asuka is probably very deserving of it, but think about this going forward. You've got a character whose whole gimmick is not to speak English and now cannot do any, like, promos to build up or to do anything about being, having the money in the bank. And Otis is just kind of, they're just making a joke out of him, so it's like, you kind of come out of this pay-per-view with no ground game, and it did seem like a very anticlimactic end to the pay-per-view, and it seemed like they cared more about the Undertaker show that's coming on right after that one. The pay-per-view itself is why they ended so early.
yeah, we got a couple comments that came in here to just not mean to pause you, but Fortnite Play says if you go back and listen, somebody says fumble. His next comment is that's what this dude named Sheen. Sorry, I'll hold it back to my face now. Fortnite Play says if you go back and listen, somebody says fumble. His next comment, that's what this dude named Sheen said on YouTube. And then Fortnite Play says, no, this hands down by far the worst pay-per-view. I wouldn't say the worst pay-per-view, but definitely lackluster. You take some very creative matches and the match itself and just have it lackluster, like Dan said, at the end. I mean, you only give us Money in the Bank once a year, and these are who you're going to have the titles be on, or the briefcases be on. Asuka, I could see, but Otis, like Dan said, it's a joke. Ian S said, yeah, that is the best chance he has of winning, but he should go for the North American Championship because he has a better chance. Okay, no, I disagree with that because Keith Lee would murder him. But the NXT, I don't know. I don't know. Keith Lee came out of the blue. I don't familiar with Keith Lee, but if you hear me on Wednesdays, I'm a huge Keith Lee fan now. I didn't follow any of the stuff before NXT, but he's been doing some good stuff. So, but with that said, I don't think the North American Championship. I would say the NXT Championship would be his best chance, and I would say, yeah, that that was the best case scenario for Otis.
Yeah, they blew it.
Fortnite Play says, yeah, Fortnite Play says they had so many great opportunities to make this the best pay-per-view ever, and they blew it. I can definitely see that. I think how many people actually tuned in because of the creativeness of this match, and it was just kind of a letdown. I mean, I don't think it was as big of a letdown as the Mega Powers and WCW with the triple cell making their all the way down to the. I was super pumped for that match, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst creative match ever. I mean, I even like the bull rope match on the freeway with Dustin Rhodes and somebody else from early WCW. So,
yeah. Well, here's what they're going to do with Otis is he's going to cash in his anytime championship title match against the champion. I was going to say that. That'll be it. I'm going to use my anytime, anywhere title shot against the 24/7 champion.
Well, I could see that. I could see R-Truth doing that. Like if R-Truth was in the match, I could see that working for R-Truth. I think Otis has to cash in on a heavyweight champion. But if R-Truth, yeah, I could see that if R-Truth was in it. I think that definitely be how they could play that one up. So.
Well, I just want to wrap this up. My thoughts on that. I think it was a case of where they got good. I don't know, like they let the phrase WrestleMania doing this type of stuff go to their head, and they just went to the opposite end of the spectrum and showed how bad these pre-recorded cinematic, quote-unquote cinematic style things, where it's like they had the music in the background and all the little cues, it's like just typical WWE. It's like you do one thing, and then instead of just trying to be people, you go, hey, that worked last time. Let's double down, and then you take it too far, because I think on tape you go, oh, this is by having them like AJ fumble the briefcase. I also noticed that the women had a tinier. AJ fumbles the briefcase, and then Otis just and there's Vince back there, whatever. After they broke the whole thing in his office, so that's some good.
Yeah. If they were going to have him fumble it, Otis, that's funny and all, but again, I mean, Nia Jax could have got in the ring and picked it up and like, what? Oh, I'm the winner, or, Shayna Baszler or something. You could have still had the funny moment. We do have a couple comments that came in. Ian S. wanted to know, why was Charlotte on the poster when she didn't have a match? Fortnite Plays says she pulled out of it the last minute. Ian S. says, and Asuka was running most of the match. That's actually fairly smart. Fortnite Plays responds with, yeah, because if R-Truth would have won, at least it would have been funny. He would have been like, I'm cashing in on the 24/7 title. Yep. And then Fortnite Plays just corrects himself, but it says R-Truth because he put R. Oh. What's that?
We got spelling police in the chat now. You're making it.
Well, actually, that's Fortnite Plays correcting himself. So he noticed he messed it up.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah. So yeah, definitely a pay-per-view that was left some things to be desired. And I do agree with you, Dan. They did the cinematic style twice last month. They did it well. And then, like you said, that's Vince going, hey, let's double down on that. Let's do that again. And I think they're going to get a lot of backlash on this one.
Yeah. Nice pun. Pun intended.
Yeah. All right. You guys have anything if you guys have any more questions out there, we're going to be wrapping this up here in a minute. So if you have any more questions or comments, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the likes that we have there. We're growing this channel together, so we are all Fate Club. So as I grow, we'll be doing way cooler things, but we are doing that Fate crate. So thank you for those likes. That's going to go a long way. Better your chance on getting that Fate crate, getting that awesome merch. We're also working on a new Fate Club t-shirt. Every Wednesdays I'm live here on YouTube, 7:30 to 9, watching AEW and NXT. So we got Ian S. that popped in. He said, who is your favorite NXT wrestler? I would say my favorite NXT wrestler. Got some good people on NXT. I really do like Adam Cole.
Definite answer.
I would say I'm always entertained with, you know what? I got it. I like Adam Cole and I like Keith Lee, but I really do like Tommaso Ciampa. So I will go with Tommaso Ciampa is my favorite.
Oh, Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano. Here's what they should have done.
Okay, we got Devin says Johnny Gargano.
Never.
You know what they should have done is in the Money in the Bank match, they should have had Tommaso Ciampa up on the roof, and then they could go, get to the Ciampa.
Yeah, you know, and I was waiting for some Die Hard references, and they had no Die Hard references whatsoever that I noticed.
I know, that's disappointing.
But you know what? Bringing up NXT, why didn't they have two people from NXT? So 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown, 2 from NXT to go in this in these matches. I think that might have been a little bit better. So and then
Ian had 6 from NXT as well, and then that would have made it really a cluster.
Yeah, you know, social distancing though. We're getting too crazy then. Ian S also wants to know who our favorite women's NXT wrestler is. I know Charlotte's on there right now, but that really doesn't do anything for me. I would say they're kind of lacking on the women right now, I think, over there.
Yeah.
Man, I just think just with the lacking of the women, I would have to say Rhea Ripley. Oh, yeah, because they lost Bianca Belair. I would have said Bianca Belair. But
that's right. Yeah, she went to Raw, right?
she's on Raw. So Ian S said his is Rhea Ripley. And then who's your favorite women's wrestler on NXT? Both of you guys.
I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley, too, just because, I mean, they are really kind of lacking in terms of, they kind of pulled all the talent out of there now, so they really got to start building people up better.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. So.
Dan, do you have a favorite?
I'll be honest, I don't even know who's on there really right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, between the call-ups and everything, they have Chelsea Green that they're trying to build. I just can't get over that, you know. Not sure who did it first, Tessa Blanchard or her, but them using the same exact entrance. I'm like, dude. I see she did change it up this week, so they're trying to build some new ones, but they took, you know, Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair all within a month, and that was some of their top. Io Shirai is another good female wrestler.
Yeah.
It just sucks because of the language barrier. You know, the only one that can actually successfully do that right now, I think, is Asuka. Everyone else, including Shinsuke Nakamura, kind of hurts from not having that a strong, you know, English.
Well, you know, and I'm not a big fan of Nakamura as it is, and I'm going to kind of rip on him a little bit because of that. I mean, he's been with WWE for a couple of years now. I mean, probably should have learned some English. You know, I mean, you know, when he was in Japan, obviously, you know, it was a Japanese company, but WWE is an American company. You know, I mean, it wouldn't have hurt him to learn English. I mean, he didn't have to specialize in it, but
Yeah.
you know, I know we know a little bit, but I mean, it's just like.
Well, when he does use it, he's actually entertaining.
When they can't speak, you know, sorry, I mean, that's not over you there, but.
Yeah. So we do have some more here. Fortnite plays. I don't understand. Shayna Baszler got punched and was done with the match and the office, and that was it. So I think he's saying she got punched in the office, and then Baszler was out the rest of the match. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, and you know.
If they were going to do this with Baszler, why'd they even call her up? I mean, you know, that's stupid, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. So Ian said Rhea Ripley. Fortnite Plays says Rhea Ripley. Ian says Shinsuke lives in California. I'm not sure if he is. So is it California? Is it Florida? I know he lives at one of there, and I know he re-signed with WWE because he actually likes to surf every day. So he actually likes surfing more than he likes wrestling, is what I heard. So that's why he re-signed, so that he could stay in the States and he could surf. So.
jump in on that chat real quick. So the other guys are saying, I don't know if I would say my favorite because I know there's probably a lot, but I think the one that I would probably be most hopeful for that would have a successful career would be that Casey Catanzaro, because I remember her from that American Ninja Warrior and stuff. And they made over there, but kind of seems like all the people they do that with end up flopping, so who knows, but definitely has the ability. But while I was scrolling through the NXT roster here, I was talking fast. One side note here, did they really change GJZ to Joaquin Wild? Is that CJZ?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one.
Tell us in the chat. I can't believe that if it is.
Yeah.
I got to look into that. I don't know.
We will have to look into that one. So
Come on, you're on a computer right now. Google it.
I could Google it, but I got a phone in one hand. I'm trying to, entertain the masses here and monitor the chats.
It's hard to look on the internet with one hand.
Good thing I pulled the camera away from that one, or my phone away from the camera. So, all right. Well, if there's any, but we'll just kind of wrap this up here in a minute. I don't see any more chats coming in, and we kind of answered them all. So again, thank you guys for watching. I'll be live this Wednesday, 7:30 to 9. Bring some questions. It's fun watching the two shows with you guys, but when we have on Wednesday nights, when we have the live chats, we get some really good chats going on while I'm watching NXT and AEW for you guys, letting you guys know what to tune into. So I see we have someone else that just joined in. I know we originally scheduled to do this at 10, but we actually went on an hour early because when did WWE start filming at 6 o'clock Central Time and ending, well, tonight it ended at 8:20, 8:24 to be exact. So
that's weird. Well, if anybody hops in right now, we can stay on for a few more minutes. If they were expecting to jump in with us, they can ask any questions if they want, because they want to go back and watch everything. I guess we already did it, but if they want to ask anything, they're welcome to.
Yeah, so what Dan just said, if you have any questions, ask them now. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. Again, thanks for tuning in. Join on Wednesday. So I know I see Dan in there often. I see Devin in there often. Bring some good questions. Let's get a good chat going.
Here's one question.
Yeah.
What's more entertaining, this pay-per-view or this stream afterwards?
I'm going to be honest, like on Wednesdays, especially this past Wednesday, it was a lot of good questions, and we get some random people from across the world. And man, I have a little bit more fun doing these streams and talking with everybody on the chat. So yeah, I'm actually more entertained by this after chat.
I think you like that more than us, Devin. I agree.
What's that? What's that?
You like the chat more than us.
No. I would like to get it so we can all be on the same screen, and but it's a new channel. It's only been around for about a month.
Chad, did you hear that? He likes us more than he likes you.
Oh, starting the drama with the people watching. So, all right. On that note, you guys, I think we're going to end this stream here. Tune in. I don't really have anything planned until Wednesday, so we'll do some unboxings here coming up. Probably after that, I should have my mystery stuff coming in from Pro Wrestling Crate, and then we got the WWE Loot Crate coming in also. So those are coming up. What's that?
When's the next pay-per-view?
The next pay-per-view is actually in 2 weeks, but that's AEW. So AEW or Double or Nothing. I was thinking about trying to maybe see what we can do about doing some sort of live stream reaction, because I was actually entertained by the reaction video I saw somebody else doing it. So maybe we'll do that. We'll figure it out. We got a couple weeks for that. So
yeah.
So All right, I'm going to end the stream real quick. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and until next time. Oh, Dan stopped me. Remember the first rule of Fate Club. You always talk about Fate Club. Have a good night, everybody.